What's good, guys? So in this week's In The Know, we'll be looking at Valorant. Valorant is an upcoming free-to-play multiplayer first-person shooter developed by Riot Games, who also developed League of Legends. Valorant is currently in its beta, which launched on the 7th of April, and to obtain a beta access key, players were required to sign up for accounts with both Riot Games and the streaming platform Twitch to stand a chance of being gifted a beta key. As a result of the closed beta, Valorant amassed the second most concurrent viewers for any game on Twitch, with 1.7 million viewers tuning in to hundreds of streams to stand a chance of getting a drop. Unfortunately, Valorant beta keys are no longer available, but the good news is that you can play the full version of the game on the 2nd of June. No key required. So the main goal of Valorant's beta was to begin the technical rollout of the game, which was to focus on the anti-cheat infrastructure and also to give the community a taste of the gameplay and gauge public opinion on what should be prioritized in the months ahead. The dev team have decided to move ahead with launch on the 2nd of June because they want to allow the community to engage with the game as soon as possible and benefit from feedback the community has already provided. The feedback that has come in from one of the most respected streamers and pro players, Shroud, has said that the game is not ready for launch with various FPS issues, causing many to believe that the game is not ready and take Shroud's view. Is this an example of Riot putting pressure on the dev team? No one really knows. It's a good game and it's coming out soon. In my opinion, the game so far seems pretty good. It is obviously coming out soon, so you can be the judge of it. At the end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see. So what is it like to play? Well, I played 24 hours so far and it seems pretty good. I have not heard any of my friends make any specific complaints. Perhaps the color palette maybe could be a bit more vibrant. Generally speaking, for a free game, it's pretty good, and I look forward to supporting the game throughout its development. In terms of gameplay, Valorant's creative art style has ominously been influenced from other well-known games like Valve's CSGO and Blizzard's hero-based shooter Overwatch. Both are team-based first-person shooters and take their creative direction from Salvatore Garozzo, who, as it happens, was a former professional player and map designer of CSGO, and Moby Frankie, former Valve developer, who has been an art and character designer for Half-Life 2 and Team Fortress. So what's the big deal with Valorant? Its initial impressions are good, the game feels pretty smooth, and plays like CSGO and Team Fortress / Overwatch. But don't let that fool you. You're in for a unique experience here. I believe that the quality inherent within the game in terms of the lighting, color, mechanics, style, and all round give a really good feel to the game. But after only playing a short time, I would not say it was comparable to CSGO, Overwatch, or Team Fortress. The in-game characters come from a variety of cultures from around the world, and my personal favorite is Phoenix, who has some really funny sayings. I have realized that I am a Sage main, I love the utility, and healing myself and teammates gives me great tactical edge. My abilities are further extended with my wall and floor freezing skills that can really be a bit of a game changer to the flow of the game. The main game meta is straightforward and easy to understand, but hard to master. Unlike other competitive esports shooters, teamwork is essential. There is just no question of it. The main game mode consists of players automatically joining either their attacking or defending team when the match starts, and each team have 5 players on it. Agents can use an in-game currency to purchase their abilities and weapons. Winning and losing rounds greatly affects what weapons and abilities you're able to purchase throughout the game. Now this is kind of OP, especially if you're losing a lot. You'll be forced to play with lower quality gear. The game has an assortment of weapons including sidearms, submachine guns, shotguns, machine guns, assault rifles, and everybody's favorite, the sniper rifle. The skin selection is limited so far, but what I've seen so far looks pretty damn good. Like Counter-Strike, each weapon has a recoil pattern, which has to be controlled by the player in order to be able to shoot accurately. The attacking team has a bomb called the spike that they need to plant on site. If the attacking team successfully protects the spike and it detonates, then they get a point. If the defending team successfully defuses the spike or the 100-second timer expires, the defending team gets a point. If all the team members on either team are eliminated, the opposing team earns the point. After 12 rounds, the attacking team switch to the defending teams and vice versa. The first team to win the best of 24 rounds wins the match. Whilst most people would agree that this is a fun tactical shooter, what really are the main perks of playing this game? Well, Valorant is really raising the bar with 128 tick servers with some of the best default competitive settings upon release. So what's tick rate? Well, tick rate is measured in hertz, and it's just the frequency with which a server updates. The higher the tick rate means it sees more of what's actually happening within the game. So for instance, a server tick rate of 64 means that the server sends packets of information such as a player's position and object location upward of 64 times in a single second. Therefore, a higher tick rate or higher server's tick rate, the better the game quality. Higher servers of 128 tick are luxury in most competitive games. Implementing 128 tick servers means that players will receive basically twice as much information as someone on a 64 tick server, thus reducing the chance of no reg. No reg is basically when a player shoots at an enemy and for whatever reason his bullet does no damage. We've all been there. But what actually happens is that the player shoots at a time when a tick refreshes and wasn't registered by the server. Increasing the tick rate decreases the chance that movement by objects in the game will pass through the server unseen. Well, let's hope. Coupled with more localized data centers aimed at less than 35 milliseconds for players in major cities around the world, this will obviously massively complement the idea of having really high tick rate servers. And then obviously the holy grail FPS gaming, netcode, which seems to be something that they have prioritized and are definitely looking at making sure runs appropriately. Riot have made some bold gains regarding their netcode, and we'll have to see what Battle Nonsense has to say about that. A commitment to anti-cheat from day one, as we've all heard about, is obviously very promising, and if they get that right, it will really help to develop a very healthy community, which should be a very big priority for them right now. And on that note, the anti-cheat controversy goes without saying. The game is being criticized for its anti-cheat software Vanguard, as it was revealed to run on the kernel driver, which allows access to the most inner workings of your PC. Many news outlets have expressed false concerns that the Riot Games and its owners, Chinese technology conglomerate Tencent, would spy on its users and such software was infiltrated, which could potentially be used to exploit your computer. To combat this issue, Riot Games have launched a bug bounty program to offer rewards for reports that demonstrate vulnerabilities with its software, which is not really reassuring enough, and I really do feel that they could obviously do more to reassure the community of what they're actually going to be doing with Vanguard and how it's going to be working. Essentially, is the anti-cheat technology even ready? Well, according to Valorant's website, the following measures have been taken. Vanguard is Riot's proprietary anti-cheat detection platform and has been blocking vulnerable drivers that cheaters were using to smuggle their software into game files. Unfortunately, Vanguard also ended up blocking drivers that were helping you monitor the temperature of your computer. Not good. So clearly not a good start out the gates to reassure your community. However, it's a minor glitch and in my opinion, a good move forward to eliminate possible weaknesses. Now, the real question, has Vanguard been effective at tracking and deterring cheaters? Well, yes, it has been good at tracking, but not so good at deterring cheaters for the time being. Riot have stated the following: we've gotten a lot of inputs that help us to understand what cheats and what forms of cheats are being used. We've gotten a lot of inputs that help us to understand what cheats and forms of cheats are being used. We can effectively use this information to deter cheaters in the future. But during the closed beta, they have held off on deploying the second half of their technology, which is essentially their auto-banning systems, because essentially they need time to understand what actions to take, especially when it comes to hardware bans. This will be different at launch. This was the exact approach taken by Activision, and we have seen this before when they launched the beta for Warzone, which is technically still in a beta. Essentially, what they did was allow the hackers to hack, identify the hackers, and then learn from it so that the anti-hacking tools can be better implemented to initiate hardware banning, which I will cover in a separate video with regards to aftermarket gaming hardware and how you may be affected. Up to now, Vanguard development team have been able to track down and understand inputs by which to identify cheaters. Many of their bans have been manually removed by the anti-cheat team. And I may add, this is a free-to-play game, so thousands have already been banned because of the cheats that are being used. So as I understand it, come launch, more aggressive hardware banning will take place by the automated detection servers. And lastly, a quote from Valorant directly: as with any game, our guarantee isn't that Valorant will be cheat free. It's our commitment to anti-cheat doesn't end when you forget about it. Well, it's not going to be an easy thing to do, because the harder it becomes to cheat on the game, the more lucrative it becomes to develop cheats. Keep subscribed for more gaming news and check me out on Twitch where I'll be streaming live. Link in the description. That's it for this week's In The Know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and stay safe. What a clutch play, baby.
Good job,
Yeah,
boys. Good
let's
job.
go.
Brilliant. Well done.
Everyone who's
Spoil the
alive
party.
is
Thanks.
Everyone who's alive is good. That was funny, dude. That was getting nuts, bro.